anyway, but Mike would take us through to karakia, please.
Karakia timatanga. Walk te hau ki te uru, walk te hau ki te tonga. Kia mākina ki te ruta, kia mātaratara ki tai. Kia iaki ana te atakura, e tio, e uka, e ahu, tuturu o witi wakamawa ki e tina, kuie.
Thank you very much. Now we have apologies from Councillor Jemison and our CEO, Vuru, and Mr. Robinson will just join us under public excluded. So we'll go on to item 4, which is a confirmation of the audit and risk meetings on 9th of September.
I'm happy to move.
And that's on page 4. Is there any discussion around those minutes? So we've got a mover and a seconder. Did I hear you, Craig? Did you second it? I think you did. Okay, well, I'll move that. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against. Okay, now we'll go on to tab 5. And is Raylene maybe joining? Not. No, that's all right. Raylene's on leave. Raylene's mother died, so our sympathies on. And Mike, please take us through that's on page 9, your agenda.
Chair, so we're starting to do our catch-ups with our financial reporting with the year-end complete and the audit process is all done and us wrapping our heads around the new systems. So we have our July 2024 monthly financial report in front of you, very early in the financial year, and so I wouldn't be relying on any trends or anything out of that month so far. And Chair, certainly no concerns or issues at this stage. Our communications and engagement reports there. A couple of programs coming up, including the environmental awards and bus days, and normal stats. Very happy to answer any questions, Chair.
Okay, any questions from any of the members?
Yeah,
Councillor Walker.
once again, are these good results, Mike? No problems, no issues, and everything's just up and down a little bit, with monthly figures. Looking at the loans and so forth that we've got in here, that you mentioned, I think that's in this particular report. We've got the Waitara situation with, I think, 21 million or 22 million, and it's now 6 years since that began. And it just occurs to me, or we're thinking about it, that in that time we've had something like 35% inflation over the years. So what we could have done with the money, or someone could have done with the money, is diminishing all the time. And the way it's going, the value of that money is 50% of perhaps what it was. So it really does, it's really wasteful, just the fact that it sits there. And we do want to push on and try to get these committees going and get something happening, because the way it's going, you'd have 10 years and nothing will happen.
Chair, I won't add anything to the debate and discussion on establishing the committees. That's a well-worn path, and the Chief Executive's working his way through that as quickly as folk will allow. What we do with the money, given that we're in a trustee relationship with that money, we separately invest it, but we need to be relatively conservative about that trustee role. So we're just putting it on term deposits, and so it is earning interest and accumulating interest. But the point you make about losing value with inflation over time is well made. So
the question that I just wonder about, what happens if it ultimately isn't used?
Well, Chair, we have a piece of law that requires us to go through and do two specific things: establish a committee and establish a subcommittee. And then the law says thou shalt then go off and spend the money. So until such time as those committees are formed, that money just sits there. I'd be very surprised if we end up in a situation where the committees are never formed. That doesn't sound highly likely at all. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it.
Your point's been made.
We just do, it's a separate piece of legislation. We just have to deal with the legislation that's in front of us.
It's almost a situation of getting to the stage where the government might have to do something if it just keeps on like that.
I followed up with the CEO of Progress on last week, and there is progress being made a bit slowly. So it is moving.
There is progress, yeah, there is, and I think it's in this report somewhere that there is progress being made.
Yeah.
At what point do we, exploit progress?
That's a good, Neil. Point made, and I think we've covered that. Okay, is there any other discussion on the financials? Right, can I have a mover and a seconder? And also for that mover and seconder, would you mind also moving the apologies? I forgot to do that. Could you do that at the same time?
Yep.
Thank you. Councillor McIntyre, thank you. Okay, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to tab 6, which is on page 41. And that's the quarterly operation report, which seems to be pretty good reading.
Chair,
Mike, please.
Chair, you've got the quarterly operational report for the first quarter of the 24-25 year, which is not only the first quarter of the financial year, but it's also the first time we've done any operational reporting on our new long-term plan and the significantly revised performance management framework that you approved as part of that long-term plan. So there's quite a different structure to the operational report that you've previously seen. And we've got new measures and tweaked measures and all the rest of it. So there'll be some bedding and processes occurring there. But across the business, we're carrying on as usual. What we've highlighted there is some early stage work in the LTP that is behind schedule. Particularly the climate change consideration, building that into our reporting that comes through to council. That's underway, but it isn't complete yet. Expect to see that in the next few rounds of meetings. We've got pressures on our pole sales and riparian plant sales. Changes, noises coming from government about the way freshwater management will change in the future, and so there's less incentive for landowners to purchase poles. The Waitara catchment committees, as we've just discussed. We're down on some of our students in our engagement, community engagement area. That's our environmental education program. We've had a number of staff vacancies there. We're hopeful that we'll get those appointments made and get back on track. And just noting, as we've previously discussed, we're slightly behind the 8 ball on our investment returns on dividends from Port Taranaki. So we've highlighted those as ambers in the report because they're of watching brief matter, and we'll see where we end up as the rest of the year progresses. Very happy to answer any questions, Chair.
Very good.
I just want to compliment you on the way that the report's set out. It's very readable.
Councillor Williamson, do you have something? Oh, sorry. Thought you did. Anyone else got any comments? No? Well, that's very good. Okay, well, I'll move the recommendations on page 42. Do I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Walker. All those in favour say aye. Carried. Now we go on to the health and safety report. Bron, would you like to move to the table, please, taking this report? And just turn the mic on, and I'll leave it to you and Mike to carry on. But it looks like it's a pretty good, healthy report.
Yeah, two matters at a high level. Noting that we continue to evolve our reporting around health and safety and our risks. Work that she's doing is starting to flow through into this additional reporting that you're getting. Having said that, the stats there are good, and we're facing no particular issues or particular items of concern that we wish to bring to your attention. Yeah, so happy to answer questions, Chair, and Bronwyn's there with the detail that I don't have.
You got anything to add before any questions, Bronwyn?
No, I think a couple of just little things. I think going straight to the general summary of this report, it highlights hopefully to you all that we're in a fortunate position at the moment that we have an extra resource until the end of the year. So we're making, as a team, as a health and safety team, so we're making the most of having 3 of us. Deep diving is into every area of the health, safety and wellbeing management as best we can. That's taking a lot of lids off things, but it's also making us really analyse risk and the incidents that are being reported, and making sure that we've got good processes around how we review those incidents or events that are reported. We had our first incident investigation team meeting last week, quarterly meeting, with our focus to really understand what we mean by a severe incident and giving it a rating that we think is appropriate. We still haven't landed exactly where we need to there, but that's something that we're working closely on. Also, we now have the opportunity with David here, with this extra person, to really focus in on contractor and third-party stakeholder management, and that's his focus between now and the end of the year. So, yeah, trust that is
very good.
acceptable.
Thank you, Bronwyn. And maybe ahead of any questions, and noting that I just saw Bruce Robertson's head pop up, in terms of the overall risk management processes that we have at the council, you'll recall that we asked Mr. Robertson to prepare a review, and that will be coming to this next meeting of this committee. So Mr. Robertson's report and the risk management framework will be considered at that date.
So do I understand the public interactions and the police reports are related?
Yes, we've in my time here, we've delivered reports to the police 3 times. All of them are currently under control. There's no further actions required. But ELT was really clear when we had our most recent incident that there's no mucking around. We just go straight to the police and let them know what's happening. So,
and have you considered whether your frontline people need to be wearing stab-proof vests?
I haven't specifically looked at that, but I don't think so at this stage. I think the incidents that we're dealing with have been one-offs, and we feel like we've managed them well, handled them well, but I don't think there's any recurring issues in these spaces.
But you've had 3 of them.
Yeah, they've all been quite different circumstances. One was on a farm with a firearm, and that was dealt with on an individual basis with that person. This other one was down in, the most recent was down in Patea, in an area that's well known to the police, and we've been conferring with the likes of South Taranaki District Council as well, and they they're not doing anything in that space around vests or extra protective clothing. I'll be led by the council as far as if they think we need to go further, but I think at this stage we're managing.
I think, Chair, it's a watching brief. It applies to the whole of the local government sector. With there are more challenges to our staff as they are going about their business. They tend to be verbal at this stage, aggressive type commentary. We're not seeing any trends or any incidents that would indicate that we need to escalate up, but we will absolutely keep a watching brief on that. And if we need to consider a range of options such as body cameras, protective clothing, improved clothing,
panic alarm,
or the whole range.
Push a button and at least someone knows they're in trouble.
Yes.
So we have it with panic systems within the building here, but we also we rely on cell phones. We've got EPIRBs and InReach devices with all the teams when they're in the field. We've asked all the teams to be very focused on the pre-checks before they go into the field, particularly if we have some nighttime activities and they could be going onto farmland or onto private property where there may be more than one owner and multiple owners in some instances, making sure that they've done their background checks correctly and that there's absolutely no risk to them as persons if they're going in. And they go in as peers, not in isolation. So don't work alone.
Just 2 comments. It would be good to know that we benchmark to industry best practice. So maybe the next report, just a quick check against, I guess, using the Te Uru Kahika, just to check what other councils have, just to get that reassurance.
Yeah.
Well, we can see what Bruce's report comes back with anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, we're waiting for that. So I think the time for discuss anything that's any further is from that report. And I think at this stage you seem to have it well managed, and it's about identifying the possible risk and back away, walk away. What will they say? Spray and walk away. So and that's you've got doing that. So let's just wait for Bruce's report.
Well, with due respect, if I ask for information, can I get it? Because it's part of reassurance around these things.
Chair, we're happy to supply that information.
Absolutely.
And the other one was just a question on near misses. And while we have 2 or 3 actual incidents, have there been, just understanding if there's a near miss reporting going on too, just to understand that exposure of what could have benchmarked, so just to get a sense of that in future reports. And it doesn't have to be, if you need more time, because there's lots going on.
So no, we're definitely encouraging more near missing.
It's great to see that.
Near miss reporting, and we're picking up on a lot of, I guess, little incidentals that we're following through with individuals, and it's one of the areas we're really focusing on is the onboarding into TRC process and making sure that we've got our procedures correct and that regular review of those procedures, which support that person's training and competency assessment process. So it's all interlinked.
I was going to say it's really encouraging to see the NMS reporting, because that gives you your leading indicators of really understanding that stuff. So great work to see. And
that's our best opportunity for improvement. So.
All right. Is there any other discussions? And we'll take care of that for Charlotte, please.
Thank you.
No other further discussions? Do I have a mover and a seconder on page 92 to receive that report, please, Neil? And Donald, are you happy to second? All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Welcome, Bruce. We'll go on to item 8 now on page 99, the Yarrow Stadium project update. And I think Jendy's got a clash of another meeting, so she won't be fronting. So you'll be a Jendy as well, if that's okay. Okay, so we'll open it up between you and Mike. Mike, do you want to start off?
Thank you, Chair. So this is the open meeting part of the project. It's just a general update, and we've obviously got the public excluded part of the meeting with more detailed risk analysis and financial reporting. But in terms of the open status of the report and how it's going, it is. I was reflecting at the quarter final the other night. In a year since the final, where it was just a concrete, not even a complete concrete slab in terms of doing the flooring, and now we've got a structure in place, a roof in place, and they're starting the internal fit out. We've come an awful long way in a year, which is great to see. We had the pleasure of hosting the board of the TRFU as a tour through there on Friday. So it was a hive of activity, and we're looking forward to showing you through the new stand possibly at the December ordinary meeting. So progress is going really well. We remain on target for completion in March of 2025. We are expecting a recast time frame in the next week or so. Now they're fully enclosed in and the roof's on, so that'll give us confirmation that we remain on target. There's nothing that's come out and hit us in terms of new drawdowns on contingencies on the rest of it. So we're still not fully using all our contingencies, which is a good place to be at this stage. So we really are looking at a good news story. Mr. Robertson, did you want to add anything to those sort of the opening sort of overall status comments?
No, thank you, Mike. I think obviously anything detailed I'll leave to the PX session, but I think for the public session, it's well worth noting that I'm not bringing any significant risk matters to the EAR today. Mike, I think it's very much, as you had said, things are relatively well and they're on track. And at this stage, the risk profile is certainly a lot lower, as you'd expect, as we get closer to the finish. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, it does look good. I went and had a look on Friday and it looks really good with the roof on that on. And starting to really look like a building, so that's pretty positive, and positive feedback from those attending the last 2 or 3 games. You know, they can actually see it all coming together, so that's pretty positive. Okay, is there any other questions?
CIP visit, you said you had that too.
Oh, that was a meeting or two ago. Yes, yes, we met with the chief executive of CIP and one of his head offsiders, an old friend of this region, Anthony Wilson. And, so that was the evening of the opening game of the NPC against Counties, and they were suitably impressed. But even then, the change in 6 or 7 weeks since that date to now is phenomenal. That area, there was no roof on that. The roof's on that top floor is all enclosed now. They're starting to get all the glass in at the back of the stand. You know, it's watertight in there now to the extent that they're doing fit out and that sort of work. It's really impressive to see.
All very positive. Anything? Okay, we'll move on to the recommendations on page 99. I'll move. Do I have a second, Susan?
Yep.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Okay, now we'll move on to public excluded. I'll move. Do we have a seconder for that? Yep. Great. Susan, thank you. All those in favour say aye. Against, carried. Have we got anyone online that we need to evacuate?
Need to close off the live stream, Chair.